was standing on my porch at 7 a.m., coffee in hand, minding my own business, when a letter slipped under my front door. The neat, overly formal script read, "Notice of violation. Unauthorized vegetable cultivation." My heart skipped. Rumors about this homeowners association had reached me, but I never expected them to come for me so boldly. The letter bore the emblem of Pineview IEW residential community, and it was no friendly note. It demanded I remove my tomato, rosemary, and pepper plants by week's end or face a hefty fine. I rubbed my eyes, stunned. 6 months in this place without a hitch, and now they wanted to punish me for growing harmless produce? The signature at the bottom sealed it, Deborah L. Carter, head of architectural and environmental standards. That moment, everything shifted. Pineview IEW residential sits halfway between a quiet small town and a lively city. I moved here hoping its community vibe would ground me after a rough patch. My name's Ethan, a freelance mechanical draftsman working from a cozy home office with a big window overlooking my backyard. I married Noah 2 years ago, the best thing that's ever happened to me. I never imagined his job would become my shield in a fight to protect what's mine. Noah's a state agriculture inspector. Ironically enough, dealing with farmland misuse, shady pesticides, and unethical land grabs. We both love fresh produce, so we planted a modest vegetable patch: tomatoes, bell peppers, kale, and herbs that brightens our meals and even feeds a few neighbors. But at Pineview IEW, apparently, fresh veggies are a serious crime. Deborah's letter threatened a $500 weekly fine if I didn't destroy my plants. Its haughty tone screamed official overreach, hinting at further disciplinary actions if I didn't comply. What could they do over tomatoes? Torch my basil in the night? It sounded absurd, but I'd heard tales of HOAs forcing families to repaint homes garish colors or threatening foreclosure over trivial issues. I'd dismissed those stories as exaggerated. Clearly, I was naive. The voice in my head urged action. These people meant business. Still, I'm not one to fold easily. I set my coffee down, marched to my yard, and checked my crops. Tiny tomatoes gleamed with dew, peppers glowed healthy green, and marigolds bordered the plot to deter pests. Nothing screamed eyesore. So why the complaint? Was it a hatred of vegetables or something deeper? Instead of calling a hotline, I headed straight to the Pineview IEW community office to confront Deborah. The waiting area reeked of fake citrus and tension drap carpet, bland wooden desk, and a clerk who eyed me warily before handing me forms. When I asked for Deborah, she hesitated, sizing me up, then said, "She's busy, but you might catch her if you wait." I nodded, scribbling my name too hard on the VY cider log, adrenaline surging. My mind raced. How did they even find my garden? After 15 minutes, a tall woman with perfect hair strode in, pale blue blazer and thick binder in hand. She surveyed me like a predator eyeing prey. "Mr. Larson," she said, voice sharp. I stood, keeping it polite. Her smile was so tight it looked painful. "I understand you received our violation notice. We take environmental and architectural standards seriously here." I said I got the need for standards but didn't see how vegetables broke them. She flipped her binder to a rule about approved flora, only ornamental shrubs, lawns, and decorative flowers allowed. Edibles, especially vegetables, were banned in front yards because they could attract vermin and ruin the VY Sewell aesthetic. My ears burned. "My crops are in the backyard," I said, voice steady. "They're barely visible from the street." She raised an eyebrow. "They could be seen from certain angles over the fence if you stand on the sidewalk. Plus, we've had complaints about potential pests." That almost made me laugh. Me garden was the tittiest I'd ever had. "Who complained?" I asked, suspecting I knew. She pressed her lips shut. "That's confidential." Then she tapped her binder, reminding me I had until Friday to comply. I asked about appeals. Another grim smile. "You can request a board hearing, but I chair environmental matters." Her look said the hearing would be a dead end. Resistance would be tough, I realized. That night, I told Noah everything. He listened, exhaling in disbelief. "They want to fine us for tomatoes," he said, tracing the letter's text. "And peppers," I joked, but my smile was weak. Noah, tall and calm, could soothe the riot. "We'll handle this," he said, his hand on my shoulder. His job taught him to navigate red tape, interpret codes, and challenge overreach. But I saw his frustration. Spent years promoting sustainable farming, only to face a group demonizing homegrown food. It was almost funny if it wasn't so maddening. Next morning, a second notice was taped to our mailbox claiming my compost bin was a health hazard that could attract raccoons. Blurry photos, clearly taken over our fence, showed my bin from Deborah's property line. My stomach twisted, anger mixed with unease. This wasn't just monitoring, it was harassment. I wanted to storm her house, but Noah urged strategy. We gathered EVY Denke, photos proving our garden was no nuisance, county extension office guidelines on backyard gardening, and a property inspector to confirm no health risks. I dug into Pine VYU's bylaws, noticing vague, contradictory language about environmentally conscious yards but no clear vegetable ban. Deborah cited amendments, but I couldn't find them. Were they real or slipped through quietly? 2 days later, a neighbor, Clara, texted me. She'd seen someone from the association snooping around my yard at dawn, flashlight in hand. I told them to scram, she wrote, but they claimed inspection rights. Watch out. My frustration spiked. I'd done nothing wrong, yet I felt like a criminal. Whispers about Pine VYU's board resurfaced. They targeted anyone who didn't fit their cookie-cutter Vyshown. Maybe they disliked me as a newcomer, or because my yard wasn't a perfect lawn. Maybe it was because I'm a gay man married to someone with clouded detail they might not have grasped. Noah keeps a low profile, traveling often for inspections. We decided to act. Noah suggested attending Pine VYU's monthly open meeting to air our case, bringing documents, photos, and supportive neighbors. I agreed but quietly planned a backup. If the meeting tanked, I'd ask Noah to lean on his professional ties. He hates mixing personal and official business, but his horticultural expertise could shred Deborah's claims. At the meeting held in a dull community center, about 20 people sat on folding chairs. Deborah, in a crisp navy suit, shot me a frosty smile. Next to her, a woman with graying hair flipped through a violations packet. My name was likely in there, circled in red. The meeting began with lawn maintenance updates and event news. Then Deborah cleared her throat. We have a serious issue regarding unauthorized horticulture on Lot 37, she said, eyeing me. Does the occupant wish to address the allegations? She said it so calmly, as if tomatoes were illegal. I stood heart-pounding and introduced myself. I explained my garden was tidy, hidden, and eco-friendly. Some neighbors nodded. I showed photos thriving plants, no pests. Deborah scared, nitpicking color variation. I stayed cool, citing county guidelines promoting backyard produce and mentioning casually that my husband knew agricultural codes inside out. She stiffened but said nothing, repeating that Pine VYEW banned vegetables outside community gardens. Where else do you grow them? I asked. Could she show the bylaw banning veggies? She slid over a typed excerpt, no official reference. Clara tried to speak, but Deborah cut her off. Tension filled the room. Some rolled their eyes, others looked away, unwilling to challenge her. Afterward, I approached Deborah privately, Noah by my side. She gave that tight smile. I'm sorry you feel we're harsh, she said, not sorry at all. Pine VYEW has a reputation. If we allow one garden, everyone's yard will look like a farm. I said farmland wasn't bad. Her eyes narrowed. We want uniformity for resale values. People pay premiums here. They don't want VY-ness. There were no VY-ness, but she walked off. We left unsure if we'd gained ground. That night, Noah said Deborah was dug in. He suggested gathering signatures for a formal board re-VYEW and contacting authorities if harassment continued. But a new email arrived. A second DULA 1000 fine for non-removal of unauthorized flora. Outrage hit me. I fired off a reply CCing the board, demanding they stop trespassing, void the fines, and prove the vegetable ban's legality. Their response, likely from Deborah, was smug, hinting at a lien if I didn't comply. It was terrifying they could threaten my home over a garden. Noah stopped me from a furious retort. Let's stay sharp, he said. He made calls, leveraging his role. A county zoning friend and a state agriculture contact confirmed Pine VYEU's ban might violate state gardening laws. Hope flickered. We can fight this? I asked. He nodded. But HOAs dig in. We need ironclad proof. Days later, another notice claimed my yard's excessive plant variety broke design harmony fines, now at DULA 1,500. Noah sighed. We may need to escalate. He sent a letter on state agriculture letterhead, warning Pine VYU's ban could violate state initiatives, CCing the board. Deborah's reply was curt. State laws didn't override private covenants. She was daring us to back off. I went door to door, learning 7 neighbors faced similar yard harassment fines for mulch, decorations, even fruit trees. One couple gave up after a fine. Another heard Deborah had ties to a pest control company pushing fake infestation claims. It wasn't just my tomatoes, it was control. I dug into Pine VYU's finances, finding hefty payments to a vague landscape consultant. Noah raised an eyebrow. Smells off. Was Deborah pocketing funds through fake contracts using fines to pressure noncompliance? My blood boiled. Deborah kept posting notices, but Noah's letter paused new fines. The fruit tree couple joined us, and we found no registered vegetable ban, just an internal policy from a private meeting. Then Deborah appeared at my door thrusting a document. Sign this to remove your garden or we'll file a lien, she snapped. I refused, demanding the bylaw and asking why she photographed my bin. Her eyes narrowed. Don't play games. You can't challenge Pine VYU's authority. Your connections won't help. She hinted my plants were unsanitary, threatening a scandal. I stayed calm. Check who my husband is, I said. Think twice about escalating. She smirked. We'll see. Next day, Pine VYU's website listed my home as non-compliant, posting photos claiming pest risks. It was humiliating but public perfect for showing authorities their defamation. Noah sent the link to a state contact. An attorney friend said Pine VYEW overstepped, suggesting a cease and desist and defamation suit. Noah met his boss, armed with our EVY Denke. The state sent Pine VYEU a letter citing the Right to Garden initiative, urging fine retractions or an investigation. I felt VY indicated. 3 days of silence followed. Then Deborah stormed my lawn while VYing the state letter. You're doing, she hissed. You can't drag state authorities into private matters. I reminded her of the law. She sputtered, then left, vowing no retreat. A neighbor tipped me off. Deborah pushed to label me a nuisance, meeting a shady official tied to property deals. Was this about buying out plots like mine near a greenbelt by bullying owners? Click not veggies but greed. We gathered neighbor testimonies, financial records showing odd payments, and proof of official ties. It painted corruption. Deborah funneled funds to contractors who backed an official's campaign, targeting non-compliant owners to force sales. The vegetable ban was her weapon. With Clara and others, we drafted a public letter exposing Pine VYU's tactics, posting it online. Comments flooded bullied residents, shocked neighbors. Outrage grew, forcing an emergency town hall with the mayor's rep present. Deborah called her claims baseless, but Noah explained the gardening law, Leah VYing her scrambling. Neighbors showed photos of suits scoping yards and suspicious invoices. Gasps erupted. A board member quit, refusing unethical ties. Residents demanded a recall. Deborah threatened to end the meeting, but the mayor's rep called for an investigation. She hissed at me, you'll pay, but her unraveling was public. Fallout was swift. Forums demanded Deborah's ouster. Whistleblowers exposed her fake amendments. Fines against me vanished. A newspaper ran an expose. But Deborah sued me for defamation and distress, a desperate move. Our lawyer called it weak. She'd need proof my claims were false. It dragged months, adding stress, but Pine VYU's board changed. Residents ousted Deborah, forming a transparent committee. The shady official distanced himself. New members encouraged my garden, eyeing a community agriculture program. In court, Deborah's case collapsed. Her EVY Denke was petty gripes. Ours was solid. The judge dismissed it. She left with fees and no power, glaring as I felt relief. On the courthouse steps, Noah grinned. Tomatoes in peace now? I laughed. Maybe cucumbers next. At a community picnic, booths offered seeds and neighbors thanked me. Clara pushed a garden task force. The fruit tree couple eyed orchard grants. Noah toasted new beginnings and sweet veggies. I glanced at our Thrive-vying plot, a symbol of VY Tory. Pine VYEU's EVOL VYing. People wave, ask for basil tips. I dream of a shared garden, but for now my patch is enough. Deborah thought her rules were ironclad, but resistance, knowledge, and Noah's job toppled her. She learned a hard lesson. We learned unity's power. As I pick peppers, Noah waters herbs. No more notices, no lurking cars. Pine VYU's rewriting rules for sustainability. I feel closure, grateful we fought not just for a garden, but for a community where individuality trumps uniformity.